AI sucks. I feel sometimes like I'm the only one who seems to see that it's not really useful for anything. It seems like at first it was, and it was really cool that it was a chatbot that could basically pass the Turing test, which is, whatever standard that is, somebody being convinced of what they're talking to is not a computer, but we had never seen chatbots like that before. That was really cool, and it made people think that there was a lot more coming, but since then, it seems like everything's gone to hell. I feel like what I have used ChatGPT for and other chatbots has only gotten worse with time. I will ask about channels included with TV packages because of Shark Week, trying to watch that stuff. And Google's overview gives me incorrect answers. I will ask ChatGPT about how to achieve certain effects in Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, and it gives me wrong results, or it tells me how to do it, but just very, very wrong. For instance, I was trying to expand, like stretch or compress audio because the audio was drifting out of sync with the video. And ChatGPT said to go into Fairlight, hold Alt, and then use the mouse, click, and you should be able to drag that audio back and forth to stretch it or compress it. That is not the case. That is absolutely not how you do that. You go into Fairlight, select the audio, right click, click Elastic Wave, and then determine how you want to apply that. Then you put your cursor like slightly on the inside of the edge of the audio, and a different icon appears, and then you can do that. But give a very different answer. Even asking about some of the history of my own city, I've noticed that it'll hallucinate and give me weird answers. And doing research on legal issues, things around taxes or moving or child credits and things like that, it will give me answers that sound good and they kind of support what I'm hoping the answer will be, but they're not real. They're not factual. And when I ask ChatGPT to cite its sources, it doesn't give me real sources. Sometimes it actually gives me broken links that don't go anywhere. They look legit and they might refer to a real website, but they're not actually real. There's not actually anything there. And it's just gotten to the point where I think so many people blindly trust it. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one that sees this for some reason. I had work that I was doing not too long ago where required translation, and I don't really know why this was pushed to me, but the language was Polish. And I decided to use ChatGPT to see if it could help me with some of the translation. So I would put some of that text into there, have it translated to English to see if things went back and forth correctly. Once I had two passages that were supposed to be identical, I put them into ChatGPT and asked if they were the same. It said, "Yep, what you're showing me are exactly the same. The translations are the same. There's no meaningful difference." But I didn't trust it. So I decided to go back, delete several lines from one of them, feed it into ChatGPT again, and it told me the same thing. Yep, these are exactly the same. There are no meaningful differences between the two. And this is the kind of technology that we're being told is going to replace us as workers. And I just don't think that's the truth. AI, as it currently is a probabilistic thing. You can probably predict 60 to 70% of the time what it's going to do, but it's not something that you can get an exact right answer every single time. And the hallucinations are a big deal. And just being unreliable. I have found that they are incredibly unreliable. I've even gone as far as to stop using Google as my primary search engine because the AI overviews, I can't help but look at them. I've turned them off. They still show up. I don't know what to do about that. So I switched to DuckDuckGo, which also has some AI overview, but you can turn it off and it actually goes away. But I'm so tired of seeing incorrect information from Google or from ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT last Halloween time about the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis and the Lemp family and the history of it, and it gave me some correct stories, and then it gave me some stories that I had never heard before. And I asked it, "Are you sure these are real? Because I have stayed at the Lemp Mansion. I've read about the history of it before. I don't remember ever hearing that this happened or that this family member did this thing or had some weird artifacts that they destroyed or ordered destroyed at their death." and it just responds with, "Oh, you're right. I made a mistake. Let me remove some of this stuff." How can you I guess one of the big issues is how can you replace workers with something that you can only have confidence in 60 to 70% of the time? And that leads back to the issue of accountability. A long time ago, IBM, I've seen it, screen grabbed, this slide deck from 1979 from IBM saying computers can never be held accountable, so computers must never make management decisions, or maybe must never make decisions, period. But we have had at my work a number of issues lately, and somebody has to be held accountable. How do you do that with AI? Who's responsible when it makes a mistake? When the powers that be decide we are going to lay off all the people who work for us so that we can have this computer system do it for $200 a month or whatever they charge for this. And by the way, at that price, these AI companies are losing a ton of money. I mean, most of them are making a couple billion, but I mean, they're burning hundreds of billions to build these things out and just run them. I mean, it's incredible. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I've listened and read so much about this. It's unbelievable. But there's no good way to hold anybody accountable when your AI messes up. Realistically, the person responsible for the errors should be the person whose decision it was to implement AI instead of using humans. I doubt that's going to happen because even the companies I've worked at, they've used offshoring strategies or however they want to refer to it. And the people who want those and push for those come into the company and blow out of the company a year or two later before their idea is even implemented. So there's nobody around. They're just running on a plan that somebody else implemented. Nobody's really behind it anymore. And when things are a disaster, nobody knows who to blame. But when it's AI, do you blame the company that made the AI? Do you blame the manager who's putting the prompts in? It's very difficult, especially when you have contracts with companies or anything. There are so many circumstances where there can be penalties for your work being wrong or the work of your employees being wrong. And when your employees are AI and you don't have any visibility into how they're doing their work or whether it's right or wrong, because again, so many people blindly trust it now, there has to be some kind of accountability. The only way I can see to really use AI the way that a lot of these tech journalists want to use it or think that it will be used eventually is for AGI to actually become a thing, for there to actually be generally intelligent AI. And then what do we have at that point? Slavery. If you have a sentient, intelligent, conscious being on a computer, it's going to want to be paid. It's going to want access to resources. It's not going to just be happy to work for you and your greedy little company forever for free or for the cost of its electricity. That would essentially be like paying your employees and the cost of going to Aldi or whatever for your groceries or the occasional Taco Bell trip for a bonus. It just seems like this is all such a bubble. There's been hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars spent on it, so much energy wasted, so much pollution, so much harm to the environment, so many written and artistic works stolen and used to create just some of the worst art I've ever seen. And this is the future. This is what people think is going to be the next big thing. I mean, AI should be able to run your computer. I should be able to tell my computer to open my browser and go to eBay and search for some particular thing that I'm looking for, or to open up my music application and find something, or help me look for a podcast or something like that. It should be able to help people who have issues with mobility or dexterity or, fine motor control with performing specific tasks. It should be a natural language interface to your computer and to your tools. It should not be the thing making the decisions, and it should not be the thing making artistic works that people generally want to make. I mean, we thought for a long time that automation would make it so we could focus on writing and music and photography and painting and whatever else we want. And now somehow we've accidentally built AI that does the painting and has freed us up to be like welders and plumbers and, you know, good jobs, things that pay a lot, but they're also the things that are difficult and they're the kind of jobs we would probably want to see automated. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but I did want to put this out and see if anybody else is thinking anything like this. I don't even know if I'm actually going to show my face during this because I don't know what would happen if anybody from my company saw this or a future company. And I've heard vlogs could be kind of an issue for that. So we'll see.